First audio sync test in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a minute. But anyway, going straight to business, we are reviewing today my first AR build. This is a AR-15 and not a regular business stick, mind you. This is a AR-15 chambered in 7.62 by 39. Let me just show you that this Cali system that it is currently is safe. It's currently safe, nothing in the chamber, and it is physically on safe as well. I am in California, so I do have to have the mag lock on there.
I'm still gonna send it.
So yeah, this is my first AR-15 build. I built it with a PSA lower that was pretty cheap, and then a Bear Creek Arsenal upper. This upper, you cannot get this exact upper anymore. They discontinued this one on their site. I built this whole setup like a couple of years ago, or some time back from this video, so I've had it for a while. I haven't taken it out that much to the range. I probably only put about 500 or so rounds through it. Planning on going more just because now ammo's more readily available. The time I built this, like right after I built it, is when the ammo ban for 7.62 happened. Couldn't find it anywhere where I was, and it was just a hassle to try and get ammo for this to take it out to the range. But I did put quite a few different types of ammo through it, subsonic rounds even, and it ran everything perfectly smooth. This upper, at the time that I got it, was around 370, which is kind of steep for Bear Creek Arsenal, but still inexpensive for an upper. Now you can get something similar as this for about $250. This is a 16-inch heavy barrel, carbine length gas system, 15-inch M-LOK rail, and you see it has the Picatinny going all the way through. Now they have the sporter style, so they have everything else here besides the little section of the rail, just the sporter edition, but everything else will be the same, heavy barrel included, and it would be around the same price, over $100 cheaper. So if you want the heavy barrel version, that's your thing. This is a heavy barrel, so it's thicker all the way through. I don't know if you can see, but it is thicker and it is heavy. I don't have a scale and I don't know the exact weight of it, but I'm sure I could find it and post it right there. But yeah, it is quite heavy. It takes a while to get used to, and even after not handling the weapon for a while, it's still pretty hefty to kind of get back into handling again. But not too bad once you get used to it. And then as for the lower, Palmetto State Armory, just the basic AR-15 lower, I think model number 1728. The time that I got it, the lower was 99, and that's when AR parts were still scarce and everything. I picked the worst time to build an AR. So the AR parts were scarce, so everything was a little bit more expensive. The same strip lower I got for 99 back then, you can get now for 60 bucks. So you can literally get two of these just for a little bit over what I paid for this one, which I recommend. The lower's been handling fine. There's not really any scratches or anything on it. It's taken a little bit of a beating, but not that bad for what it is. For the upper, there's a couple spots where the coating is worn off. I know the barrel is parkerized. I'm not sure what type of coating they have for the M-LOK barrel, if it's just anodized or what, but it's not the most durable. And then for the barrel, it has a 1 in 10 twist. It seems to be pretty accurate. It's as accurate as I can be with it. So I didn't do anything super extensive as far as testing the precision of it out to range, because at the time I was limited and couldn't really do that, especially with the optics I had and still have. It's pretty cheap right now. I have a Vortex Crossfire on here, and then at the time that I was doing most of the shooting and everything, I had a Leapers UTG Bug Buster scope, which you'll see in some of the shooting videos. No doubt that this could be very precise if you know how to use it right, if you got everything tuned properly. In the hands of a capable person, this could hit what you need to hit, guaranteed. So far, nothing. I've never had a single problem with this. No failure to feed, no failure to eject. As for the internal parts, it's kind of a hodgepodge. I have a Geisley Super 42 buffer spring in here, and then a H3, I think Expo Arms buffer. I went for a little bit heavier one since 7.62 is a little bit more of an active round. are a little bit more of a heavier round, a little bit more powder and stuff, and I'm sure a H2 buffer can handle it perfectly fine. But not knowing too much about it and just wanting to be on the safe side, I went for a little bit heavier buffer, and it seems to be working great with it. I have a CMC, the single 3.5 single stage flat face trigger. Very great trigger, very tried and tested. A lot of people use it, a lot of people love them. Yeah, it's just a really good trigger. If anyone knows about CMC or had a CMC trigger, they're pretty damn good, especially for the money. But yeah, that's about it. Everything else is pretty much basic. Primary arms, expo arms, internals and stuff. The furniture I have on is it is what it is. I kind of switch around between a lot of stuff. As you'll see in the different range videos, it looks completely different almost every time. For what I have right on it now, it's just a Magpul stock right here. I got a red anodized Strike Industries charging handle, because I had a whole idea of getting this Cerakoted like burnt bronze or FDE, and then having this like red anodized accent and maybe like a red trigger or something, and then like a little flight tag hanging off of it, and then just scrap that idea because why? Anyway, got the Magpul angled foregrip on it, the K2 grip on it because I like that grip and that straighter angle better. With the thumb grooves, it feels really nice in my hands. And yeah, that's about it. Like I said, the Vortex Crossfire, I got the Magpul flip up sights on here. And they're dusty because they came off my other gun, which will come up in a later video. Different paint job on there. So yeah. And then the barrel and the upper that I got also, it did not come with sights. Just to let you guys know, classic A2 bird cage on it. But yeah, I mean, out the box and for the price that it was, even back then, the higher price, it was still cheaper and affordable for me. And then for what I paid and what it was, I'm satisfied with it because it's worked reliably. I haven't had any problems, no malfunctions with it. It's accurate. It's been able to run everything I put through it. I run Wolf ammunition, Tula, Federal, some Atomic brand, Subsonics, and it was able to run and power through everything perfectly fine. Didn't have a problem with anything, no malfunctions, like I said, whatsoever. And if there were any, it was just all mag induced. The magazines I've been using for this, because it's 7.62, the main magazines I've been using are these steel Duramags. 10 rounders, yes, I know. Everyone not in California is crying right now. But yeah, I've been using these steel Duramags. I got about 3 or 4 of them. And these have been pretty good. They're made specifically for 7.62. So they're a little bit wider with the feed lips and makes it a little bit more reliable. Yeah, I've had no real problems with these. I was using 5.56 magazines, and those were kind of giving me some issues with 7.62. Just because the feed lips were a little bit narrow and there was kind of some issues of them not picking up rounds and stuff. So I switched to these steel Duramag ones and those are perfectly fine. Also, I have these steel ASC magazines. I don't know if you can see. They meant to look like they have 30 rounds, but they only got 10, unfortunately. One day. But yeah, these are actually for another build that I have that's upcoming. But yeah, it also fits a larger bullet. Spoiler alert, fits a larger caliber. And so it fits the 7.62 really nicely and has been feeding these pretty good also. Not as good as the Duramags. I feel like I would trust the Duramags more than these ASC ones, but these have been working too, so that's that. failure to feed. There's one failure to feed with the ASC magazine. It didn't feed the last round in. Looks like the follower got kind of stuck down. I just got 4 rounds all together in the Duramag. Just finished this mag off. Oh, we got a hip fire, right?
You're a stupid dumbass.
Alright, so as far as the experience of building my first AR and putting everything together, assembling the parts, was I nervous? A little bit, yeah. It does seem like, especially in the very beginning, if you're new to this, if it's your first build, it does seem like it's going to be challenging, kind of daunting. Thankfully, there's a lot of videos by people on YouTube and different places that show step-by-step instructions and show like the right things to do, how to install things properly without damaging certain parts. Being organized and keeping all your tools and all your parts, especially smaller springs and small pins, retaining pins, keeping those in like organized areas, Tupperware, making sure you don't lose anything would be a big help, and is a big help. But yeah, once I understood what I was supposed to do and took everything just step by step, taking my time, making sure I didn't overlook anything or rush anything, trying to get everything done as fast as I can, it wasn't that bad of a process. It's very engaging and it's very fun to learn, very fun to get my hands and learn how things are put together and to make my own very first AR, as opposed to buying one fully made and then not having as much of a connection with it, I guess, if that type of thing matters to you. I mean, yeah, but like I said, once I figured out how everything went together and just took it step by step, it was pretty straightforward. So it wasn't bad at all. And if you're thinking about maybe getting into building your first AR or building an AR just to make sure you have anything custom, but you're unsure about it, if it's something that you would like to, if you would like to tinker around and mess with it, if you like to see the inner mechanics and figure it out for yourself with your own hands, I think you should definitely go for it. It's not as complicated of a process as it seems in the beginning. I mean, there is still some things that are tricky and you have to look out for, but it's not that bad, and it's definitely a more rewarding feeling and a more satisfying feeling knowing that you completed and you built this AR and put it together. I mean, especially if you're just getting like a full upper and a strip lower or whatever, I mean, you're just kind of assembling stuff. You're not fully pressing the barrel together and installing gas systems and everything, which could be way more complicated and difficult. But I think it's a good way to go, and especially because that way you can hand pick all your components, all your parts. You can hand pick and mix and match, and instead of spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on a pro high quality AR, you can make something that can be pretty close or at least perform similar to such an AR, but it'll be hand picked and customized for you and probably come out most definitely a lot cheaper. So far from Bear Creek Arsenal, I've got a couple products from them. I purchased them myself, and they've ran smooth. I haven't had any problems with them whatsoever. Maybe as far as the finish goes, on this particular upper is a little bit easy to get wear on. Some people don't care about that. Some people are very stickler about it. It just is up to you. As far as the performance and what is done, it's been perfect. I know people have said a lot about older Bear Creek Arsenal uppers, and their finish is kind of messed up and their quality control isn't as great. A lot of burrs and stuff. I haven't experienced that with this one at all. The finish is kind of fading and it's got some scratches pretty easily, but I've also just kind of been tossing this AR around. I mean, I've put this gun through a little bit more abuse and just kind of throwing it around more than, I'd say, a gun you would spend $3,000 or $4,000 on that you take a little bit more care of. So I'm not gonna go too harsh on the finish about that. But it is what it is. I don't really care too much about this one just because I was going to end up getting it Cerakoted anyway. I probably won't, but that was my original intention, so I'm not too worried about it. And if anything gets too messed up, I can just re-Cerakote it and then go with the original plan. But as far as performance goes, you can see in the videos for itself, I mean, it's very capable. For what it is and for what I paid for it, the accuracy has been really good, the performance is really good, and I'm not the most experienced and not the most accurate, and I don't have the best tools and technology and scopes and red dots and everything that are available. I kind of just got cheap lower end stuff, and from what I was able to do at the limited range I was able to go, it was accurate, dead on accurate for me. And someone that's more capable can probably maximize that and be able to find it perfectly fine. So as far as performance wise, reliability wise, I haven't had a single issue with it so far. I haven't had that many rounds through it. Granted, I have been under 1,000 rounds, and I'll probably post updates later on as I start getting more rounds through it, since more ammo is available now and I couldn't do as many tests as I could back then. So I will do updates and let you know how everything's working and if anything falls apart or whatever. I do know that with the 7.62 bolt carriers for ARs, just in general, not just for Bear Creek Arsenal, but for all AR-15s that are chambered in 7.62x39, it's important to double check the bolt itself because they have to mill out more of the steel and more of the metal in order to fit that larger casing in, which makes it thinner, which of course makes it easier and more prone to breakage and failure from the bolt itself. So I haven't yet, but I'm ordering an extra bolt in 7.62x39 just in case one does break. I won't be ass out and I'll have it on hand to be able to swap it out. That is something to keep in mind if you're thinking about getting or chambering an AR-15 in 7.62, whether you built it or got it pre-made that way. Just to have an extra one on hand seems to be like a good idea, just because I guess they are known to be more prone to breakage just because of that thinner material. But yeah, other than that, I'm very satisfied with the first build. It's worked out great for me. The Palmetto State Lower, very cheap, very affordable, very sturdy. Hasn't had any single problems, no scratches. I have to have the stupid California mag lock on there, which is kind of rubbing and scratching against it. And I got the kingpin in there, so yeah. But I think altogether, this whole kit and everything I got, including the furniture and the internals and everything, was around $750, $800 for the lower, the upper, and basically a complete rifle chambered in 7.62x39. And for $700, $800, it's pretty damn reliable. It's pretty nice. It's got a heavy barrel. It's been accurate as far as I can be accurate with it, and I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, as far as the fit and finish, I mean, there is some wiggle for sure, but I mean, it is what it is. It's two different manufacturers, and they're both very cheap, inexpensive parts, but they perform good for what they are. And if you just are trying to get into the AR market, or if you just want something cheap and affordable and something that you can space out by buying the parts at separate times, or if you just want to have an inexpensive option to take out to the range and get your drills in more, or to have in your truck or car gun or whatever. Especially if you have a higher end, higher priced rifle and you don't necessarily want to wear it out by taking it to the range all the time, trying to practice with it and everything. Some people might not want to use a $5,000 rifle for home defense just in case they have to, because they don't want to have to deal with it getting taken by the cops and left in the evidence room for however long. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and what it is a business stick that can perform for under $1,000. Especially now, everything is way cheaper, so you could probably build this for about $600-700. AR-15, and this one's in 7.62 for $600-700, and it doesn't fall apart the minute you shoot it. I mean, that's pretty good to me. again, it's up to each person, to each his own, you know. All right, so that was my quick little review and overview of my first AR build and of the Bear Creek 7.62x39 AR upper, Palmetto lower. I love it. There's nothing else I can really say. So nice to see you guys again. How y'all been? Hey, you can cut the video. You cut the video. Thank you. Goodbye.
You just rip the whole mag?
I only got 5 in this.
Maybe slow fire it then?
Huh?
Do you just want to unload it, or do you want to say slow fire?
You can slow fire it. Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. Alright.
Okay, so it's a matter if you get one.
You just get up there.
The bullet of death lips towards you.